Guys, we just got confirmation on who's taking over the Cowboys defense. After interviewing 9 different candidates, they've zeroed in on their guy, and this hire comes straight from the division rival Eagles. Plus, I'll break down what this means for the draft with those 2 first-round picks we're sitting on. What's up, Cowboys? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Cowboys. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the America's team. So yeah, the wait is finally over. The Cowboys have officially hired Christian Parker as their new defensive coordinator. This is huge news because Parker was with the Philadelphia Eagles as their passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach. I know, bringing someone in from Philly might sting a little bit, but honestly, look at what this guy has done. He's only 34 years old and has been in the NFL for 7 years, but his track record with developing cornerbacks is pretty incredible. Okay, let me walk you through his resume. Parker started back in 2019 with the Packers as a defensive quality control coach. Then he moved to Denver in 2021 as the defensive backs coach, and that's where things really started clicking. The Broncos drafted Patrick Surtain in the first round that year, and by year 2, Surtain was an all-pro working directly with Parker. Since then, Surtain has been one of the absolute best corners in the league, like consistently shutting guys down. That development didn't happen by accident. Then, Parker joined the Eagles in 2024, right when they went to the Super Bowl. He's been their passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach for the last 2 years. The Eagles drafted Quinyon and Cooper DeJean on day 1 and day 2, and both of them became all-pros this past season in 2025. I mean, that's just ridiculous development in such a short time span. Out of all the candidates the Cowboys interviewed, Parker has the strongest track record when it comes to taking young talent and turning them into elite players within 2 years. Now, you're probably thinking about our current situation with the secondary. We've got Salin Carson, obviously, but we also have CJ Goodwin and guys like that who need to step up. But the real intrigue here is with Savon Revel. This kid was thought to be a potential first-round pick coming out of East Carolina, but he's been battling injuries and needs to rebuild his confidence. If Parker can develop him the way he developed those other corners, we could have something special. And don't forget about DaRon Bland. When Bland is healthy and playing on the outside, we've seen what he can do. He literally broke the record for most pick sixes in a season. Getting him back healthy and working with a coach like Parker could be massive for us. Here's what really stands out to me about Parker's coaching philosophy. He keeps these extensive digital notebooks where he logs daily observations and organizes them by topic. So when situations come up in games or practice, he's not just relying on memory, he's got this whole database of knowledge he's built up. That level of preparation is exactly what we need after the disaster we just went through on defense. And you know what else I love? Parker talks about how he asks each player about their personal baseline process and then structures his meetings to complement that, not override it. His whole thing is to coach and treat everyone fairly, but not the same. Some guys respond better to being challenged publicly in meetings, while others need that one-on-one correction. In today's NFL, understanding how different guys learn and process information is critical. Not everyone learns the same way, right? Some guys are visual learners, some need it written down, some need to talk through it. Parker gets that. His meetings are apparently run like those Socratic-style classrooms where players are constantly being asked to explain concepts, challenge ideas, or defend adjustments. Nobody gets to just sit there quietly and coast. I actually love that approach because it forces guys to really know the playbook inside and out. You can't just show up and zone out. You've got to be engaged and ready to defend your understanding of the scheme. Cooper DeJean actually gave a quote about Parker that really tells you what kind of coach he is. He said, "I can say a lot of things about what he's meant to me and Quinyon too. We've had a routine if we go meet with him 2 or 3 times a week to go over the team we're playing or to go over different looks. I don't think I'd be the player I am or had the success that I've had without him. That right there tells me everything. These guys meet with him 2 or 3 times a week outside of regular meetings. That's initiative. That's professionalism. That's what championship defenses are built on." Honestly, I hope Parker can identify guys on our current roster who had that same hunger, because we need players who are going to stay after practice and dive into film. We need guys who are finishing each other's sentences out there on the field because they've studied so much together. For too long, we've heard players talking about being confused or not understanding assignments. That tells me guys weren't putting in the extra work. When meetings were over, they were out of there. We need that culture to change immediately. Now here's the big question.
Parker has never been a defensive coordinator before. He's always been focused on the secondary. So what's it going to look like when he has to manage the entire defense? That's a legitimate concern. Going from coaching 7 or 8 defensive backs to being responsible for 40-plus guys, including practice squad players, is a massive jump. He's got to learn 45 different personalities, 45 different learning styles, 45 different temperaments. That's the gift and the curse of hiring a younger, up-and-coming coach. The gift is that he's young, energetic, has fresh ideas, and probably relates better to today's players. The curse is that he's learning on the job, too. What really matters, though, is whether he can develop the front 7 the way he's developed secondaries. Because look, your secondary gets so much better when you've got a legitimate pass rush. You can have the best corners in the world, but if the quarterback has all day to throw, it doesn't matter. We absolutely did not get home on the quarterback last year, and that killed us. Even if we had elite corners, it wouldn't have mattered without pressure. So Parker needs to figure out how to get the linebackers playing better, and how to generate a consistent pass rush. That's going to be critical. The good news is that Parker spent the last 2 years learning under Vic Fangio, who's one of the best defensive minds in football. Fangio's tree has produced a ton of successful coordinators, and Parker's got to absorb all that knowledge. Fangio demands that guys get out there and execute. He runs tough practices. Hopefully Parker brings that same mentality here, because we need it desperately. One thing that's important to understand is that Parker, as a passing game coordinator, wasn't calling plays or handling the entire defense. He was more focused on setting up coverage and breaking down what opposing offenses do in the passing game. He'd scout the other team and then help formulate the game plan for what coverages to run and how to attack their passing concepts. Then the defensive coordinator would take that information and build the full game plan. Now Parker has to do all of it himself, which is a completely different responsibility. The good news is that this might be the easiest defensive coordinator job in the world right now. There's literally only one direction for this defense to go, and that's up. We just had the worst defense in Cowboys history. We gave up a franchise record amount of points. It cannot possibly get worse than what we just went through. So Park has got some built-in cushion here. As long as we show improvement, people will be happy. But here's what I really want to see. Will Jerry and the front office actually open up that wallet in free agency and get Parker some real players to work with? Because you can have the best scheme in the world, but if you don't have the talent, it doesn't matter. We need to go out and get 3 or 4 legitimate starters in free agency, not practice squad guys, not players that other teams didn't want. I'm talking about actual impact players who can come in and contribute immediately. If we do that, then we'll have flexibility in the draft. Right now, we're sitting at pick 12 and pick 20, and we don't have a second-round pick. So moving up in the draft would be tough, unless we wanted to package both first-rounders to get way up there. The only guy I'd even consider that for is Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State. This kid is different. He's one of the smartest players in college football and makes plays all over the field. He can play in the box, he can play in coverage. He's just a special talent. But realistically, he probably won't be there at 12, and I doubt we trade up. What's more likely is that Parker is going to be banging the table for cornerback help in the draft. Given his history and success with developing corners, you know he's going to want to add talent to that position. We could easily end up taking a corner at 12 or 20, especially if there's a guy Parker really believes in. The Cowboys now have Brian Schottenheimer on offensive side and their defensive coordinator in Christian Parker. The foundation is being set. Now we need to see if the front office is going to support these guys with the players they need to succeed, because schemes and coaching only take you so far. At the end of the day, this is a player-driven league, and we need talent. Let's see if Jerry is willing to spend to make that happen.